is always the same.
You okay?
On the day before the Final Fantasy movie opened, Square EA threw a little party for all the Final Fantasy fans at the PlayStation Store at Metreon, San Francisco. Final Fantasy fanatics lined up around the block as rumors circulated that the creator of the Final Fantasy universe, Hironobu Sakaguchi, might make an appearance. Inside, the party was in full swing, complete with raffles, Final Fantasy games, auctions, and costume contests where the winners received Final Fantasy toy sets, action figures, soundtracks, and exclusive Squaresoft t-shirts. Every so often, a hush fell over the crowd as they showed a video from Final Fantasy X. We wanted to know what some of Final Fantasy's biggest fans thought about the upcoming movie.
Final Fantasy rocks!
Final Fantasy rules!
Anticipation of Sakaguchi-san's arrival was definitely on the rise.
Sakaguchi, you're my lord and god!
Finally, towards the end of the evening, Sakaguchi-san made an appearance. We managed to pry him away from his adoring fans to ask him a few questions, like why the movie was not based on any of the games.
The story and characters in Final Fantasy are different each time, and actually in the beginning, the movie started with the idea that it didn't have to be Final Fantasy or related to it. But as we progressed, the theme progressed into taking the Final Fantasy that I've been working with even deeper. It is very similar to Final Fantasy VII or IX. The title Final Fantasy just seemed to fit. After a press screening of the movie, someone wrote, "This is Final Fantasy." I feel the same way in that there aren't similarities when comparing every detail, but the game and movie share the same feeling, and that was really important to me.
Since the room was filled with Final Fantasy fanatics, we wondered if Sakaguchi-san thought the movie would cross over to a broader audience.
Yes. Even if you don't know anything about the game, you can enjoy the movie. Even in the games, we create them so that you can play any of them without having played the others. For example, Final Fantasy X has been created so that you can start playing with that one and enjoy it. People don't need to worry about that, and I hope they come see the movie. Making a movie and making a game are very different. But I guess since this movie is a CG movie, the computers and software we use are all the same, so there may be more similarities than differences.
Get him to the table.
My goal was to make the human characters very lifelike. It was very difficult, but I think our hard work and professional skills have paid off, and we were able to achieve very realistic CG actors. I think that's the biggest difference, since that's something we haven't seen before.
Locating pathogens.
Finally, we were dying to know whether there'll be a Final Fantasy II.
I'd like to make one, and I have a bunch of ideas that aren't necessarily sequels. I'm in the process of trying to decide which one to pursue, so yes, I'd like to make the next movie. I hope people will look forward to it.
If you can't get enough of Final Fantasy, check the vault for the complete trailer of Final Fantasy X.